Welcome back. It's another episode of the Better Learning Podcast. My name is Kevin Stoller, host of the show, and I have some updates for you on Second Class Foundation. I know you've heard me talk about this in the past, but this is a nonprofit that we set up with the purpose of how do we inspire change in education through the use of media and storytelling. So this episode is all about some of the work that we've had in there, and then I'm going to share a few stories, but then I'm also going to have some things that I think you guys can all help with. This audience has extremely passionate about improving education, but they also have unique connections and means that can help make this more impactful than it already is. And that was kind of the intention always, was how do we take Second Class Foundation and help everyone within the industry of education, as well as reaching more the general public, more the mass media side of things. How can we inspire change that's helping schools, but then also have this multiplying effect? So I want to tell you about one of the first projects that we are ready to launch, and it's a docu-series that we're calling What We Show Them. And the idea behind this, we had a great production team that really looked at stories and interviewed and tried to figure out what are some of the really good stories that we can tell right now. And the one that we found is this Valley View Elementary School in Idaho. And I'm excited for everyone to watch this. We'll have a link to this first episode that will be available to share. But it is moving. It's powerful. It's all about why we wanted to do this, because we know it really does have this effective story that until you see it, you don't know. And it's one of those where you walk away with that emotional connection and think, wow, we really need to do something. And some of these things are more urgent than maybe others really realize. So I'm excited for you all to watch that. That's going to be the first thing that I can do. And I'll give you a little bit of the backstory when we looked at different stories, and we had our production team that is great. They are just so passionate about this and believe in the project. And they looked at a bunch of different characters and stories that they can really get behind. Said, you know what, this is one that is immediate. It's happening right now. Let's get in there and do that. And they did a great job of telling the story, but it's really just at the beginning. So the idea behind this ongoing docu-series that we're doing is that we want to intertwine stories from around the country and hopefully around the world, because a lot of these things take a long time to develop. So we want to be able to intertwine them and be able to follow the progress and the ups and downs that come with it, and the character development, so people really get these connections with these communities, but also have this multiplying effect of not just helping these communities, but also how, when other people see this, how does it help them think, how do we help our community? So that goal is really to make this an ongoing series, and it's gonna really require a lot of things for it to actually work. Because one, we want to make sure enough people see this. So we are working, having discussions with some different distribution channels, so that we do get some more eyeballs on it, and the right people that are also change makers that say, hey, yeah, I see this, and I want to get involved. I want to help make more of these a reality. So what we need from you, this audience, this great audience of change makers, whether you're school leaders or people involved in the industry on the design side, or supporting education from the professional level, or if you're just a change maker, whether you're in the corporate side of things and think you have some means that you can help do this. But we're really looking for a variety of things, everything from volunteers that can help do things even like our social media and spread that, or also volunteers that can help find other stories around the country that we can spotlight. We also do need donors. So whether it's at an individual level or at a corporate level or some other type of foundation, something else that has like an education initiative behind it, we think this is going to be one of the most effective ways to utilize your dollars. So being able to learn more about about how we can tell these stories, because we know that stories inspire change. We know that. We've seen this over and over and over again, of how media, how movies, how TV shows, how podcasts, how all these different books, different ways, social media, all these platforms where people are consuming more from an entertainment value. How do we meet them where they're at with really entertaining stories? So this doesn't always feel like it's it's where we're feeding kind of education documentaries that only people in education care about. We're trying to find really good stories that anyone would watch, so that they can understand and get involved with some of these different things that need attention to improve education. So I want to just kind of close this with a story and of why this is so impactful. There's a perfect example of something that's out on Netflix right now. Right now, there's one called The Program that's out there that is education related. It's about these boarding schools that were targeted for parents of what they considered high risk teens. But to hear the stories from these kids who have gone through this experience now that they're adults, and see what is actually happening behind the scenes and the character development, and how you get to feel connected to these people and their families, and be able to see from their perspectives and the decisions that they were making. It's an extremely powerful way that I don't think any other outlet can really get that type of connection. So if you do get a chance to watch that one is called The Program on Netflix right now. It's a 3-episode one, but that's the type of movement that we're working on, is how do we create really good content. And I think we got it here on this docu-series that's we're going to have the first episode linked to this, of what we show them. And I just want to reiterate, before I wrap up here, Second Class Foundation, why we do this. I also want to hit a little bit on the name of it. Second Class Foundation can come off as jarring to people. Most people say, like, I don't want anything associated with second class. I want to be first class, or I want to have no classes. I'd be like, we shouldn't be having any classes in this, where we want to really look at equity and how every kid should have the best opportunity to succeed. But that's why we chose that term. It's a little bit of play on words of second class, like kind of like the second period of school, but also is this more like what school 2.0 would look like. But we also don't want to run away from the fact that we say we live in a first-class society, or that we should be offering the best thing for our kids, but a lot of the opportunities that are out there are not at that level. So go to secondclassfoundation.org. We'll have the link on here. We also have everything linked from betterlearningpodcast.com. But I really hope that you start seeing the type of work we're going to do, and just know that this type of work is just one example. We hope we have a variety of different ones. But this one is very emotional. It's worth watching, and we hope that we can continue doing that. But we are going to need your help, whether it's with getting the word out or finding and lining us up with different funding options. And we also do have some board seats available too. So please reach out. It's going to take a lot of people for this type of movement to succeed, and that is the goal of why Second Class Foundation had started. The views and opinions expressed in the Better Learning Podcast are those of myself as an individual and of my guest, and do not necessarily represent the organizations we work for, the Association for Learning Environments, K-12, Education Leaders Organization, or Second Class Foundation.